Hi, my name is Matt Roberts. I was an intern at Late Night with David Letterman, and I worked at Late Show with David Letterman from 1993 until the end in 2015, starting in the ticket office and ending as an executive producer and the head writer. This show was where I wanted to work from the time I was 11 years old. I don't know where to begin with all of the things that dazzled me. The thrill cam jumps out as something that just seemed so bizarre, and despite it being such a silly idea, it probably did evoke something of a thrill in 11 or 12 or 13-year-old me whenever that actually came along. The dancing waters was another thing that I just thought was so silly and delightful, and the ensuing parade that became larger and larger. Chris Elliott was somebody who you knew that he worked on the show, but he was insanely funny. William Shatner had done this elaborate interpretation of Rocket Man. So Chris Elliott came on the show and basically just did the same thing.
It's lonely out here in outer space. Oh, it's such a timeless Mars ain't a place to raise a kid. No, in fact, it's cold as hell. And there wouldn't be anyone there to raise the little boogers. If you did. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me around. I'm yet to find I'm not the man they think I am at all. No, no, I'm a rocket man. Ooh.
I loved the performance. It was insane. But then what I loved even more, afterwards, when Chris crossed to the desk and did panel, it was as if Chris had intentionally just allowed the segment to come to a complete standstill.
I don't understand what he is. Is he a puppet or is he a machine? I
don't know.
Toy?
I don't know.
As interns, we had different assignments. At a certain point, you'd be covering the front phones while the main receptionist went on her break. Little did I know they had planned a segment on the show secretly called Let's Meet the Interns. And so during the Act One, as I'm sitting there answering phones and watching the show up on the monitor, and he picks up his phone on the desk and starts dialing, a camera comes around the corner and suddenly it's on. I'm talking to Dave. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I might have had tragic early 90s facial hair.
What are you studying in Maine?
I'm studying English.
Uh-huh. You know, Matt, it's a good thing we don't have you hooked up to a polygraph. Have you ever stolen office supplies?
No.
Of course you have. What time do I arrive each day?
10 a.m.
6 a.m.
So one of my good friends from college actually came and worked for the show as well. And he was a writer and I was a researcher. And we were roommates. One night we came home and we had been completely robbed. When the staff found out that we were robbed, well, they did what only our show would do, which was they made a remote out of it, and it was Dave takes Matt and Doug to replace their stuff at Macy's. The upside of it was that, of course, by doing that piece, we would get paid $700 or $800, right? So that each. So then that starts to get you closer to being able to replace a few things. I remember thinking, I need to go say something to Dave to thank him for this this generous gift and this gesture. I just remember walking into his office and I just said, you know, very earnestly, you know, thank you so much. It means so much that you did this and we really appreciate it. And then it just sort of felt like it was that moment when you know you have to kind of leave, but then it felt weird to not say anything else. So I just remember in the moment saying, God bless us, everyone. It made Dave laugh, and then I just walked out.
Now, do you need an answering machine?
Yeah,
Built
ours had
in.
it built
Do you get a
in,
lot of
yeah.
messages, you guys? Oh, they get no messages. These guys? I would play this joke on my mom. Mom would be ironing in the kitchen, the phone would ring, and I would say, I'll get it, Mom. I was very ill. And then I would grab the iron and do the, hello? Do you have any idea, Matt, Doug, any idea who hit you guys, who knocked you off? Any thought?
Actually, there is someone.
Really, you have kind of a suspect in mind?
I may be the only person that doesn't love the staff hypnosis piece. Just because I find it mortifying. I can only describe the experience of being hypnotized. It's not like a trance like people think. It's not like you don't know what's going on. You know exactly what's going on. It's almost like you have had every sort of self-consciousness taken away. In the same way that you might if you'd had like several drinks. Marshall Silver suggested to me that anytime Dave referred to money, that it would make me sort of laugh, make me a little bitter, make me sort of get irritated by how much money Dave made.
I know that I get a lot of money, but one of the benefits of having all of that money is the facility, the research facility, you know. So I don't feel so badly making that kind of money when I can provide services like that for people like yourself and others who work on the show, you know.
Are you kidding?
About what?
I mean, like with the amount of money that you make, we could be like in a palace. We could have a research palace.
Right. You enjoy the benefits of my wealth by working here and knowing me. You have a really wealthy friend.
That's kind of a crock. You get so much, and you work, okay, so you work a few more hours than me.
Right.
But
let me ask you this. What do you care? You got a shirt on your back, you get 3 meals a day, you have a place to live, you have money for dates.
But I don't even have $1 million.
You don't
and
deserve
you have
it. You don't deserve it. I deserve
14.
No, I know.
14.
I know,
Look,
but it's
if you could give me 1 and you'd still have 13.
I'm not going to pick favorites among the writers because there just have been so many great writers on the show, but Steve Young regularly generated ideas that just made me laugh so much and were just so unexpected. Like, it just kind of came out of nowhere. He was especially funny writing for Jerry Mulligan. The one thing that stands out is something where he came out and led the crowd in a sort of a call response pertaining to the recently discovered Higgs boson particle.
How does finding the Higgs boson change our understanding of the universe?
An excellent question.
Thank you.
Paul, let's get busy. All right, gang. When I say Higgs, you say boson. Ready? Let's go. Higgs. Now just the balcony. Higgs. Now just the ladies. Higgs. Now you, Dave. Higgs. Not playing along. Okay. One more. Everybody. Higgs. Love you guys. Higgs out. Remember to vote for me in the Theoretical Physicist People's Choice Award.
One bit I had a hand in creating called the Weekend Late Show that was meant to lampoon the fact that you sort of get the B talent on the weekend versions of anything. It ended up being something that Dave was very tickled by. In the promos for the Weekend Late Show, there was only ever one actual talent who we brought in to appear in a promotion as a guest on the upcoming Weekend Late Show. If the star name is on the Late Show, then who would be the second tier star that the Weekend Late Show would get? And the obvious choice to us seemed to be Donald Trump Jr.
And over here in our cookery nook, we have Donald Trump Jr., who's going to show us how to make his billion-dollar meatballs.
Mamma mia. Do you make them with beef, pork, or veal?
I use all three.
Whoa!
We did the 4 a.m. show. We decided to do a remote with Amy Sedaris down in the West Village where she lived. Just so happened that, like, you know, the stretch of Christopher Street we were on had a lot of shops that specialize in adult novelties and entertainment.
This is the hangar. Need I say more?
Oh, no, wait a minute. Well, what do you mean, Nita?
I think they're still open.
All right.
The hangar. It's a gay. It's for guys, Dave.
Oh, all right.
Okay. This is a jewelry store, which I'm convinced is a drug front.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, there's the beach. That they give massages and waxing for men and women. Full release.
Among my favorite guests, Nathan Lane always came ready to deliver in a big way, whether there was a performance involved or whether it was just being hilariously funny. Dave liked to tell an apocryphal story about Merv Griffin, which involved Merv coming down to the casino floor and slapping a Keno boy. We decided there was no better person on the planet to recreate that moment in song than Nathan Lane, who was more than game.
A number from the new musical, Simply Mervelous, Nathan Lane and the cast and kids from the show. Come on out, folks.
Excuse me, sir. You know you can't go into the Keno Lounge dressed like that.
Hey, kid, do you know who I am?
No.
Wheel of love, you bastard! If you spin much faster, love will go and pass me by.
Yes, sir, Mr. Griffin.
Good.
So we finally get President Bill Clinton booked on the show. We had wanted him to be on the show forever. The show had not been super gentle on him from a comedic standpoint for a long time. A tremendous amount of care was taken to make sure that we wouldn't even inadvertently brush up against anything that might make President Clinton feel uncomfortable or like we were teasing him or whatever else. President Clinton comes out and references how great the band sounds. And so Dave, just as a complete kind of non sequitur, just reacting to that, says, oh yeah, are you still playing the saxophone? In the wake of everything that we know occurred with Bill Clinton, let's just say that the word blow did not come up anywhere in any of the notes or would not have been an approved lyric. I still feel like, too, if you watch the moment, I feel like you can see it kind of flash over Bill Clinton's face that he goes, oh, good God, what did I just say?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You get a chance to play the saxophone much anymore?
I do. I set up a music room in my house up in Chappaqua.
Is that right?
Blow away. And sometimes I play Harlem Nocturne. That's great.
So for the last show, there was an idea that we would start with the clip of the famous clip of President Gerald Ford saying our long national nightmare was over. And then it would go through every president, and then it would end with President Obama saying our long national nightmare is over. David Letterman is retiring. President Obama made an appearance on the show, and that was when we shot it backstage in the green room. So we shoot it, everything's perfection, but when Dave says, you're just kidding, right? President Obama goes, and then I was in the position of having to say, Mr. President?
Should we make it affirmative, or should we just make it more of just a...
Yeah, I think that's what that's the one right there.
And he said, yeah, you don't think that'll seem mean, do you? And I said, no, I think because you're doing this for us, it already suggests that, you know, we're all on the same page here, so I think it'll be fine.
My fellow Americans, our long national nightmare is over.
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 Our long national nightmare is over. Letterman is retiring.
You're just kidding, right?
Martin Short, among the best talk show guests of all time, without a doubt, and super fun to collaborate with. Marty and I developed this ritual of going out to dinner. We would get a back table because Marty wanted to be sure we were hidden away because he would bring out his laptop, and we would work out the whole segment over dinner and maybe some martinis and cosmopolitans. So when Marty would come out and say to Dave, you know, you look fantastic, that was usually a result of each of us making lists and lists of the new trends and see which ones made us laugh the most, and then they would all end up going into the segment.
Have you had a rib removed? No. What is it?
Is
it the new chin?
No, I just take care of myself. I watch. Is it the new chin?
Yeah. Have you had another bypass? Don't have too much work done.
I won't.
But then you get this thing. You know, this gets longer.
Marty always wanted to do something musical to finish his segments. I specifically remember one, the premise of the bit was just that it was Marty making an entrance flying on wires. Marty came in for rehearsal and he was all rigged up in the harness and everything else. As it turns out, they make a harness that pivots, but if you should flip forward into the harness, you could actually fall out of the harness. On our first take, when he started to pitch forward, he could feel himself sliding out of the harness and had to stop himself by like grabbing one of the metal cables and just slicing a huge gouge in his hand, right? Just bleeding everywhere. Marty was a hero about it all, and just, you know, we bandaged it up and it was hilarious as always.
Fly me through this room and make my entrance with finesse. So your fly is open, ma'am, I'm looking down your dress. From this vantage point, the moon is but a shining wafer. Wait, that's not the moon I see. It's head glare of Paul Schaefer. Why you? No, wait a second. I think we're a little low. And may I make this call to the funny man, to the brilliant man I love most.
Mr. Show Business.
How about that?
Oh, Marty. Come on.
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh.
This is too much, Dave.
Martin Short, everybody.
Mike Wallace also cussed at me on the phone one day. I just remember things were a little bit rockier than they normally would have been with Mike Wallace. And so the next day, I just remember getting a call at my desk. Mike Wallace just goes, "Matt, what the fuck was that?"